Welcome to the Authentically Social Podcast. My name's Corey Perlman, and I'm here with my wife, Jessica Perlman. In the past, it was perfectly acceptable to pay no attention to what's going on behind the curtain. But today, that's exactly what your audience wants to see. This podcast unpacks tried and true principles to put culture, community, and connection at the core of your digital strategy. Let's get going. Hey, everybody, it's Corey Perlman and Jessica Perlman back with you for another Authentically Social podcast. Super excited about today's episode because it's something that's near and dear to my heart that I've been saying since the beginning of time and still reigns true today. So what do we got?
All right, Corey. Yeah, welcome back, everyone. Today, our Authentically Social principle is going to be make your customers the hero in your digital story. And our social media mantra really is what we want you to think about as you're going out on social and posting. Make it less about you and more about them. Now, nobody really likes to be told to make it less about me. So how can we do that, Corey?
It is social media, right? And yet I'm asking you to talk more about your clients, but it brings me back to many years ago, almost decades ago, working with Dale Carnegie. Still to this day, I work with them, one of my favorite organizations in the world. And one thing I've always told the folks at Dale Carnegie is that their class members, their graduates, have always been their best salespeople. That the ambassadors, the advocates for Dale Carnegie are those that have went through Dale Carnegie. So, and it's not a hit on the salespeople for Dale Carnegie. It's just when someone says it that's not being paid to say it, it's that much more meaningful. It's that much more powerful. And so to this day, after a decade of doing agency work and working on social and watching what's happening on there, when we can get our customers and clients to be the ones sharing the message, more people find it credible. More people are interested in it, and essentially it means more to folks, and that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. This is sales 101, really. But we have to remember that when it comes to social, as opposed to us as businesses saying it about ourselves, how can we get others to talk about it? So what I'm looking for in this particular section is, if you think about it as a spotlight, and we've turned the spotlight in different areas throughout this podcast, on our internal team, on our community. In this case, we're turning the spotlight on our customers and clients and proactively asking them to share their experience with us, not only on their own social, but on ours as well.
Yeah, and we've talked before a little bit about, if you do have that opportunity that presents itself, that someone is giving you a testimonial, have a process in place to capture that, or someone to send somewhere to send them to, like Google or Facebook or wherever you like to collect your testimonials. So we have touched on that before. And this really kind of takes it even further. It's thinking about what parts or what areas of your existing business or brand do you have that you can just shine that spotlight a little bit more on, making sure that they have an opportunity to build that trust with you and work with you in that way.
Yeah, a lot of these principles build on themselves, which is really cool. And you mentioned, we've got a whole section on making sure that you capture testimonials from your clients, which is definitely a big part of this. The other thing that I think will make it a lot easier on you and on me to do what we're talking about here is, instead of trying to create the moment, we try to capture the moment. So again, using Dale Carnegie as an example, session 12 or session 8 or whatever the last session is of a particular program that their clients are going through is the time to capture that content. Instead of going back to them 6 weeks and saying, hey, Stephen, I know you had a great experience in the leadership program. Would you mind, it's been 7 weeks, whatever. Instead, they're in graduation mode. They're fired up, man. Dale Carnegie rocks. That's the time to have that camera ready. and get them shooting, right? So in your business, when are people most motivated to want to share their experience? That's when we capture that information instead of trying to recreate it down the road. Make it as easy as possible for our customers and clients to talk about us on social. Tell them where we want them to go. Again, capture them when we already are with them. I think about our furniture clients. It's like right at the time when that is being installed in their home, or maybe it's the moment that they first use their new kitchen or sit in their new furniture, whatever the case may be. Those are the times that we want to create a process to capture that moment, either via video or via picture is super important. So make it as easy as possible on them, and instead of recreating the moment, capture the moment instead.
Yeah, and shining that spotlight can be on your customers, but it can also be a little bit on the people inside your business and giving them an opportunity to kind of shine. And we worked with a consulting client. We met with them. It was a Mountain West client, and they were talking to us a little bit about their social media presence and how they were approaching things. And during the meeting, they were just like funny and bantering back and forth. And you could just tell that it was a really fun company culture and that they really were passionate about the people that they served in the community. And one of the suggestions we made was, hey, what are some ways that you can take that spotlight and shine it on the people within your business and the community around you that you support, who really are, in turn, their customers? So thinking back to that, Corey, what were some pieces of advice that we gave them to kind of just maybe shift their perspective on how they might be able to approach this principle?
Yeah, that's a great example, Mountain West Trailers, because they sell these trailers, and then they've got these trailers out there, and they experience the people on the road and all that, and so and it's kind of a win-win because the people are excited about their new trailer. Another example would be like motorhomes or cars or whatever, but people want to show off their stuff, man. They're like the old adage, people hate to be sold, but love to buy. They really do love to buy. And so just asking them to let us be a part of their journey is really great. And here's the kicker. Having your customers talk about you on your social is great. Having your customers talk about you on their social and tagging you in that is even better. So it's like getting them, so in their case, we were talking to them about creating a process of once those trailers have been sold and are a part of their new world, how can we motivate them to post on their social about that experience? Another one is travel advisors and travel agents. How can they get their travelers to post about them on social while they're traveling? It's the holy grail to social media is when you can get your customers to talk about you on their social and tag you in their business. But they're not going to necessarily do it on their own. None of it is by chance. If you always see like, gosh, that particular business gets a lot of play on social by other people, it's because they're being intentional about it. Don't kid yourself. They're incentivizing, they're motivating, they're encouraging their customers to take them along on the journey, and they're reminding them that when they are posting to social, to tag them. One of the things that I often tell people to do is when somebody, when they see a picture on social, let's say, so let's just use the travel advisors as an example. Somebody's on a cruise. They take this great family photo on the cruise, but they don't tag the travel agent. The travel advisor might post on there, "Oh, I'm so happy you guys are having an amazing time. Keep it up." By you commenting on their post, that's a reminder to them to say, "Oh yeah, and by the way, thank you, ABC Travel, for making this all possible." So it's a friendly reminder to people that you're there, you're watching, that you'd love to get a shout out on social. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that really is like the holy grail of having someone talk about you. So with this principle, as you're posting on social media or thinking about content, as you're thinking of it from like your perspective, then I think it's just making that slight switch to thinking, okay, but how is there anyone that I've recently worked with who could tell that story a little bit better than me, who could show how that product worked for them personally. So it really gives them a little bit more of an inside view onto that. Anything else to share about this one? I was trying to think if there was any other stories that we had that we could share about shining that spotlight. And we do talk a little bit about the digital hero. So like with that hero mentality, is there anything to add on that?
Yeah, it's just a reminder that we shouldn't be the hero in our own digital story. It should be our customers, our community, and our team, and our people. I think that keeping the spotlight off of ourselves to the extent that we can is always good, and make it less about you and more about them is just a good habit to get into. The action that I want you to take on this is, listen for those cues of happy customers. Oftentimes you'll get an email, you'll get a text, you'll just get a verbal thank you from your customer for a great experience. And the response needs to be, the best way to thank me is to post about me. The best way to thank us is to post about us, and say, if you don't mind, what you just said is meaningful to me. And if it wouldn't, be a bother to you, if you wouldn't mind just going to social, whatever platform makes sense for them, and to post about it, just getting that into your rhythm of conversation is going to get more people posting about you on social. An example real quickly on that is me in the speaking business. Every time I leave, an engagement, there's always an email that goes out to the meeting planner, especially if I get an email from them, and we thank them for the opportunity. And then I say, if you don't mind, if you have a moment, it would mean the world to me for a LinkedIn recommendation. And then I give them my link that takes them directly there. And I even put a couple of bullets that I've heard them already say. You customize the presentation, whatever I heard them say, I'll put there just so they don't have to necessarily think too hard on what to put in that recommendation. So I try to make it as easy as possible, and I try to get them right at that moment. A week later, it's too late. A month later, it's way too late. You gotta, get them. The timing is so important on this. So the action I want you to take is, look for those cues, ask your customers and clients to talk about you on social, tell them where you want them to go, make it easy for them to do, and create a process for you and your team to have more customers talking about you on social. So there you go. Rock on, get it done. We'll see you on the next one. And thank you so much for being on this journey with us. As Jess likes to say, keep it social.
Thanks for listening. We're over here giving you a digital high five for completing another episode. If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to take a screen grab and share it across your social media. Don't forget to tag us at Corey Perlman Speaks. I hope we can stay connected by following each other, as we are excited to see more of your social media journey.